Hey guys, my name is AS Riel. I'm the author of the Dicewright, a solo RPG podcast. And welcome back to our series exploring the Solo RPG Engine, a solo kind of GM Emulator type system that I'm in the process of making myself. And we're exploring that using the Shadowdark system. And we are playing through a small campaign with a couple of player characters. I don't really know where things are going to start in this session. I have our hook for the beginning of the chapter that we've discovered last time in the interlude series, but I think we're just going to jump into things and see how this all kicks off. As a reminder of what happened last time, in the first session, we saw chapter 1 in which we built out our world. We established some NPCs, some factions, some locations, and we also introduced our two characters, Myrick, an elf ranger, and Zaffar, a human sea wolf, a kind of barbarian Viking type character. And we saw that Myrick and Zaffar were lowly members of a thieves guild known as the Chimney Sweeps, and they were on an initial sort of quest on behalf of the Chimney Sweeps to escort a prisoner to a isolated location, perhaps some kind of prison or fortress. They were stopped on the way out of the town that they were leaving, and after a brief run-in with 6 guards, they managed to escape down the road on a wagon, while they did take a couple of arrow blows to the back, so they are already injured. In the second episode, we looked at the interlude phase of the Dicewright system. The interlude phase of the system enables our factions and NPCs to move independently of our characters, and we saw a couple of things happen. Namely, we saw the king go in search of a dwarf who he accused of crafting false gems into his crown, and so we began to see him take revenge. Meanwhile, we saw into the district called the Gut in Meridia, the capital city, where there are a kind of a group of mutants, and they are losing limbs and their skin is turning translucent, and their goal is to seek justice. But they regressed from their goal, and so they were actually ousted from the city, and so we now have a band of refugee mutants being kicked out of the capital city. But we return to Myrick and Zaffar with the hook that they are moving toward a quest, and since they only have one quest at the moment to deliver that prisoner, they're going to be moving toward that quest, but the hook was to confront secrets. Now, what I believe this means is our prisoner, whose name was Saramir, an elf priest, has some kind of secrets that's important to the Chimney Sweeps. And so I'm going to roll on our meaning tables again and see if I can learn a little bit more about what this secret might be. So I'm going to take my D100s. Let's get that one and that one. And we are going to look for what the secret might be. 55, 79. So 55 is track. 79 is trust. Track trust. Okay, so as Myrick and Zaffar managed to get a ways down the road, they've escaped the village. They are well clear of the guards who were on their heels. They finally pull over and they decide to get out and check on the state of the prisoner. Myrick says, well, I suppose there's no good in us delivering something or goods that are spoiled, as it were. Let's go and check the prisoner. Zaffar hops off the horse and pulls back the tarpaulin that's covering the prisoner, and we see Saramir, an elf in simple robes, bound and gagged, and he seems distraught. He seems pleading for their attention. And as Zaffar goes to move away, Myrick thinks better of it and says, well, he's bound. He can't do anything. We better hear him out at least. And so Myrick pulls down the gag that is in the poor priest's mouth, and the priest begins to speak. And the priest begins to tell Myrick and Zaffar that he is being hunted, and whatever that is hunting him is also going to be hunting the Chimney Sweeps. I think that's the direction here. He's asking them to trust him. He's being tracked, and there are secrets much greater than the Chimney Sweeps know. Now, what I want to know a little bit more about is what is tracking, what is hunting Saramir. And so that's what I'm going to try and find out now. So in the Shadowdark book, there are monsters on page 194 all the way up to 265, which is about 70 pages worth of monsters. So how on earth do I make a D70? Let's take a d6. That'll be the 10s dice, and I'll take a d10, which will be the digits dice. We will look for a monster on whatever page this comes out as. That is 61. So that would be, so that's 1. So it's basically going to be on page like 51, because we work backwards. 51. Okay, so we've got several different monsters on this page. We have some scorpions, some giant scorpions, shadows, shambling mounds, sirens, skeletons, sharks, Smardon. Okay, so the ones that I think make the most sense here, potentially skeletons, potentially shadows. Okay, I think potentially shadows. Okay, so the priest is being hunted by some living shadows. How many of those shadows are hunting the priest? Let's have a little look on here. Let's roll a d4. 4 shadows are hunting the priest. Okay, so there is something coming after the priest. They're almost like Black Riders from Lord of the Rings. Are the shadows still on the priest's tail? I think this is somewhat likely. He's been bound and gagged. He's been limited in his escape. So let's see. That's a 4. So that's a yes. I believe a yes and 4. No, it's just a plain yes. So they are still on the tail of them. The question is, do they approach while they are having this discussion? I think that's just a flat roll. We shall see. 6, extreme yes. Okay, so as they are having this conversation, Saramir, the priest, begins to go pale, and he looks over his shoulder. He looks over the shoulder of Myrick and Zaffar, and he says, they're here, they're here. And he points, and the shadows come out of the trees and begin to move into position to attack Myrick, Zaffar, and the priest. And with that, we shall go into some combat. Okay, the stage is set. We have Myrick here, we have Zaffar here, and we have Saramir, the priest, in the background. I'm going to give Saramir, for the time being, the Acolyte stat block from Shadowdark. So he does have some ability to aid in this combat, especially if he sees that Zaffar and Myrick are going to come to his aid, essentially. So what we will do then is we will roll our initiative checks. Myrick has the higher dexterity of the two, so we will be using his dexterity modifier, which is a +1. I will be using the green dice as the goodies and the red dice as the baddies, and the shadows have a dexterity of +2, so we are looking for hopefully a good roll here from Myrick to kick us off. Oh, that is a natural 20 for Myrick and a 4 for the shadows. That is fantastic. So in that case, the entire party is going to get a round before the shadows can take any actions. Now, this is a very, very deadly combat. So in the event that things go wrong, we will see where that goes. It might well be that these shadows are actually so thief takers themselves, and so where Myrick and Zaffar have been leading Saramir to a prison, perhaps these are doing the exact same thing for some evil force that is out there. So it is not all doom and gloom if we go to what looks like a death scenario, but let's see where things go, because you never know what story the dice will tell. So I think Myrick will look to get into some cover and then take some shots. So Myrick is going to swing around into these trees. He's going to kind of bury himself into the trees and then take a shot with his longbow. So he has a +3 to hit on his longbow, and that is against an AC of 12 of the shadows. That is an 18 +3, 21 to hit, and we're going to be aiming at this closest one. 21 to hit. It does a D8 +1, so let's grab our D8. That's an 8. Wow, an incredible start. A nat 20 on the initiative, an 18 +3 to hit, and then a max damage to start. So that shadow takes 9 hit points of damage, bringing it down to just what would that be? 6 hit points left. Let me make a note of that. Fantastic. So as he buries himself into the trees, he knocks an arrow, draws back his bowstring, looses the arrow, thuds straight through the shadow. And even though it just kind of disappears straight through, it sees, as Myrick can see some of the life force draining away from the shadow, this flitting, sentient shape that moves in the darkness of the trees. So, Zaffar will now get involved. I think Zaffar is going to have to get into the melee of things. Just before we get into Zaffar's turn, looking at Zaffar's character sheet, which I'll put up on the screen here, I can see that actually, as part of his sea wolf background, he gets to choose one of the old gods after each rest. So today he would have chosen an old god to pray to, and those gods give him certain benefits. So looking at this, Odin gives us 1d4 HP every time we kill an enemy. Freya enables us to gain a luck token if we don't have one. Each of the party will start with 1 luck token, so they each have 1 to use. And each time you use the luck token, you get to add a d6 to your roll, so that gives you, even more luck. And then Loki gives you advantage on checks for lie, sneak, and hide. I think we're going to go for Odin today, regaining 1d4 HP every time you kill an enemy. And so with that, I think Zaffar is going to rush in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think he can get into melee with this one, and rush in and attack with his great axe. So again, it's just a +1 actually on his attack. He's not overly strong, interestingly, but we do get an additional +1 to all melee and ranged damage, though. So let's have a look. That's a 13 +1, that's 14, that is a hit. And so now we need to use our D8, and that'll be a D8 +2 or a D10 +2 if we want to use the two-handed. So let's do that, two-handed D10 +2, and see if we can finish this guy off. 7 +2. Zaffar charges in with his great axe and just swings straight through the shadow, and though he feels no contact, the shadow dissipates and flows like dark mist over the ground. That is 1 dead shadow, and we do get to roll a d4 to give him some hit points back. Let's see how many we get back. Can we get it back up to max? 2. So we are back up to 14 hit points for Zaffar. Next up is the Acolyte, that is Saramir. I think seeing Zaffar and Myrick go straight into attack, the Acolyte is actually just going to approach Myrick and is going to use its healing spell, a healing touch wisdom spell. So that's a DC 11. Let's see if he can make it. That's just a natural 4, as Saramir is unfortunately still wounded and tired from his imprisonment, and so that will actually do nothing, unfortunately. So that is now the Shadow's turn. This is where it gets dangerous. So let's see, the first one will approach Zaffar. Looking at their stat block, they have an ability called, so their attack is, they get 2 attacks, it's +2 to hit. They do a d4 and drain, which is draining strength damage, which is very, very dangerous because that can cause some outright death here. So let's see if they hit first. Zaffar has just an AC of 9. He's a wild barbarian with kind of very little armor, so we are looking for 7s to hit on this. That is a natural 1 on their first roll. So that is a lucky miss for Zaffar in that first one. And that is a 6 on the second roll. So that is actually just an 8. Both of them miss. Zaffar is dodging this movement and this strange kind of shadow form, and he escapes unharmed. I think with that, the next one is going to come in on Zaffar as well. So it's going to look to kind of continue to damage this one mythic warrior who's kind of battling away. Another 6. Wow, this dice maybe is a little favorable to us. And a 14. Okay, so there is finally a hit. Zaffar will take a d4, so that's 2 points of damage, so he goes back down to 12 hit points. and then he also takes 1 strength damage. Now, I don't really know how this strength damage is regained at any point. So we take 1 strength damage. That brings us down to 12. I will have to check the ability scores to see if that means we go down. Let's see, 12, 13. We don't at the moment. So let me put that as a /12. So we stay at +1 in our strength, which is key for our attacks and things, which is great. I think the last one is going to move in and fully surround Zaffar. They are all trying to take on this one warrior. So last attack is an 11, so that one will hit, and the second one is a 7, so they will both hit. So we're doing 2d4 worth of damage. Do I have another d4 here? I do. That is 5 points of damage and 2 more strength drain, so that is pretty deadly. They do need to start bringing these guys down. They've already brought 1 down, but that might not be enough. So 7 and 2 more strength damage, so that moves him down to 10 strength damage, which does reduce his attack modifier. Let me go to find that again. That does bring it down to +0. So he's now on a +0 for the time being, and we go round to the party's turn again. Zaffar, let's see. Okay, we will have Myrick shoot an arrow, because I think the benefit for us really is getting Zaffar to have the killing blow. So Myrick is going to shoot an arrow at this closest enemy. Let's see if he can get another hit. That's just a 3, no luck. This time the Acolyte will come in and use his mace on this particular shadow, so he gets just a +1 to hit, but that is a 16, so that is a 17 to hit, and it's a d6 worth of damage. Let's see, come and roll high. Just 2, unfortunately, so that brings him down only to 13 hit points. Now it is Zaffar's turn. He will turn and he will go to attack this particular undead, so this time it is Zaffar's turn. That's a 13 to hit, so he does hit, and he will now take his d10 +2 damage. Let's see what he can do. Oh, that's a natural 1, unfortunate. So that is just another 3 points of damage. So now we are looking more and more likely that we will see some kind of bad scenario come out here for the party. But let's see what happens. First off, this closest shadow will turn and go to attack Saramir, the Acolyte. Gets 2 attacks. Let's see if either or both of them hit. That's a 9 and an 8, and the Acolyte actually has a decent AC. The Acolyte has an AC of 12, so neither of those are going to hit. Now, the 2 on Saramir, the 2 on Zaffar, the first one, a 4 and a 12, one of those will hit. So let's see how much damage is done. That's 3 points of damage. Zaffar is tumbling in hit points. He's down to just 4 hit points and is down to 9 strength, which means he now gets -1 on his attacks, which is not good at all. The last one, it's a 14 and a 13. They would both hit. I think the Zaffar might be going down here. Yep, that is 7 hit points. So he does go down. That is a 0. So Zaffar drops to the creature. Now, the question is, what does the Acolyte do in this scenario? Let's hold on right there. I think right at this very moment, as Zaffar falls on the road and Myrick calls out from the tree line, "No! Zaffar!" The priest, the Acolyte Saramir, stands back from the shadow, pulls a dagger from his waist and pulls the dagger to his own throat. He holds the dagger there and says, "Fine, fine. I know you have hunted me, but I know you do not want to kill me. I have seen this several times. You have had the chance and you have not taken it. You want me for something more. Whoever has sent you after me wants me alive. I will go. I will go if you leave us. Leave these two. What say you? Will the shadows take the offer? Will they spare Zaffar and Myrick and take Saramir for their own. I'm going to make a wisdom check with advantage. If it is true what Saramir says, that they have spared him several times, then something is possessing these shadows. Something is driving them towards a goal, and that goal is not the death of Saramir. The goal is the capture of Saramir. And I think that is what we saw from that initial hook, that track trust. So he's going to make a wisdom check with advantage. I'm going to say this is a normal DC, so he just needs a 12 here. He's got a +2 to wisdom, so any 10 or higher on these two dice, and that will be the case. That's a 13 and a 12, so that actually makes a hard success as well as it was a normal success. So with that, the shadows lurch down onto Saramir, and they engulf him in darkness. They become as if one, and Saramir is lifted off the ground, and eventually he becomes nothing more than a dark cloud shifting along the road, and he disappears northwards away from Myrick and Zaffar. Now, the question is, let's see a little bit more about Zaffar and his death check. So, looking into how dying works, we will roll a death timer, which is a 1d4 plus constitution. That will be the number of rounds that Zaffar has. So his constitution is 1, so he does get a +1 to this round. That's just a 1 though, he has just 2 rounds. And so Myrick has 2 chances to stabilize Zaffar, or even still he will die. So Saramir has been escorted off by the remaining shadows, and this is absolutely another quest that we will be adding to our list, to go rescue Saramir. But let's first deal with this. So Myrick rushes over to Zaffar's side. He's got 2 chances. It's a DC 15 intelligence check, and Myrick has an intelligence of +2. Okay, so we do have a chance here. 13 needed on the dice. First roll, let's use our dice tower. An 11, no luck on the first roll. Unfortunately, he has 1 more chance. Otherwise, we're losing a character so early on. Let's see. Come on, Myrick. A 3. Zaffar, his body corrupted by darkness. Dark, shadowy energy pulses from him. It seems to seep from his mouth as if it's blood, but it's just a trickle of dark smoke. And Myrick leans over him and says, "No, come on now. You're the strong one amongst us. You can deal with this. Come on. But there, on the side of the road, in Myrick's arms, Zaffar passes away, and his body goes limp. That is absolutely the end of a story beat, and that is absolutely, I think, the end of this particular episode. A very dramatic episode, and we've lost the character already. What now does Myrick do? Myrick needs to go find some allies. His quest is still to take Saramir to the isolated prison on behalf of the Chimney Sweeps, but he's now lost Saramir at the hands of 3 dark shadows sent to capture this acolyte, who for some reason want him alive. And this is an incredibly interesting turn of events, and next time we will roll our twist check at the end of this story beat, and then otherwise we will press on with Myrick going after Saramir and finding new allies to help him with his quest. My name is Riel. I'm the author of a solo RPG podcast called The Dicewright, and I hope you join me for the next episode of our Shadowdark campaign.